Hi, I'm Kevin Finch. I'm the Executive Director of Big Table, and Big Table cares for those in crisis in the restaurant and hospitality industry. Let me start by saying simply, this has been a brutal year, and it has been more brutal for folks in the restaurant and hospitality industry than just about anyone. Part of that would mean that there are folks that are thinking about whether life is still worth living. And I wanted to ask Sabrina Votava, did I say that correctly? Great. For the president of Failsafe For Life to come in and give us some tips on how we can respond if we're concerned that someone that we know might be thinking of hurting themselves. In addition to leading Failsafe For Life as the founder and president, Sabrina is a licensed mental health counselor and is a certified trainer in areas of suicide prevention. Sabrina, first, just to give us some real simple steps, what should we be paying attention to for friends and coworkers that we think might be struggling?
So in all of the research that I have read about and everything that I've learned about suicide prevention, there are some themes that come up over and over again. And those are that when someone is in crisis, oftentimes they feel hopeless. They feel no sense of belonging. So they feel disconnected, isolated, no place where they feel truly a sense of belonging. They feel trapped. There's no way out. Nothing's going to get better. Nothing will change. And they feel like a burden to the people around them.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the way that presents itself might look different for different people. They might say things that point to those. They might behave in ways that are pointing to those factors. But those are the things we want to keep in mind. Do they seem hopeless? Do they seem like they feel like a burden? Do they seem like they feel trapped? Or do they seem isolated and disconnected?
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. If we get our spidey sense goes off and that someone might be struggling or you might be picking up those signs, what are simple things that I could do, that anyone could do to just start to kind of open that conversation?
I always say start with empathy, and for some of us that comes really easily. Sometimes we think, oh, gosh, I don't know what that's going to look like, but tell them what you've noticed. Here's why I'm concerned. I'm wondering what's been going on with you. These things seem different, and so tell me about how you've really been doing. So acknowledge what you've noticed, and in a caring, open way, and know that, and let them know you can talk to me about how you're feeling. It's okay for you to share.
Give me an example of what that might look like in terms of, say, you think I'm struggling. What would you say to me how would you say what you've noticed?
Okay, so I would say, hey, Kevin, listen, I've noticed that you aren't showing up quite on time the way you were always really punctual, and I've noticed that you're just showing up a little later recently, and you seem a little out of sorts or kind of frazzled when you're showing up, and I just know that's not like you. So, there's no concerns, you're not in trouble. I just wanted to check in on how things are going for you. I was wondering if something might be happening in your life.
Got it.
So we're acknowledging, and if there's some sort of reprimand that would come along with that, that's kind of a separate conversation. But we're just acknowledging, hey, I've noticed these things. I care about how you're doing.
Okay, so start with empathy. Say what you've noticed. Ask how someone's doing. Anything else?
Yes. So after that, we want to ask about suicide, and
specifically.
Yes. So in some contexts, that might feel like a leap. To say, how are you? Are you thinking about killing yourself? In a natural line of conversation, it wouldn't come out that way, right? But when we have our spidey senses going off and we're saying something really is wrong, and I feel it in my gut, and I know this person, something is not right, we do want to be bold and ask that question.
I've heard that never is inappropriate to ask, as opposed to the people's normal instinct is, I shouldn't say that because it might put an idea in someone's head.
Right. I think those are the two major concerns that I hear about the most. Is number one, like you said, gosh, I'm going to put that idea in their head if they weren't thinking about it. And all of the research points to asking is good and helpful, and
Great.
We don't really have anything that says that it's not.
Okay.
The other thing that I hear people being concerned about is, I'm going to offend them. I'm going to upset them. Because there's so many different things that are attached to suicide, so much stigma and taboo and
Right.
some negative connotations that we think we're putting all of that on them when we ask. But if we do it in a caring, open way, and we kind of lead them down, here's the concerns that I have, here's what I've
Right.
noticed, I rarely have that response of being offended, and most oftentimes have this just sense of relief. Oh my gosh, someone noticed.
Yeah. Well, and maybe even if they act offended, that may be also a defensive mechanism
Yeah.
too. Okay.
Yeah.
What about folks who are not, that you're not seeing? So someone that you're not working with, but has just kind of gone off the radar and maybe truly isolated at home physically, not just emotionally. How do we engage them?
So there are a couple things. I make it a regular practice, and especially right now, I've doubled down on that to check in on people that cross my mind. So if you are thinking about someone, tell them that. Send them a quick text message and just say, hey, you've been on my mind. I hope all is well.
Okay.
And those regular check-ins really keep that connection and keep that rapport. If you're concerned, if they're isolated and you're concerned about their safety and well-being, we can just again, we're kind of leading them down that line and acknowledging, hey, things might be really hard right now. How are you really doing? I imagine it might be kind of isolating where you are. How are you feeling? And so we're acknowledging that their situation might be difficult and just checking in on that. And then depending on what we get back, yeah, things have been really hard. Sometimes when things get really hard for people, sometimes they feel like they wish they could just go to sleep and never wake up, or
Right.
they think about what it would be like to die, or sometimes they think about suicide, right? So there's, I tend towards more a direct approach of asking, but there's lots
Right.
of right ways to ask.
Okay. So, Sabrina, any final thoughts? Anything that you would share just to kind of help us get a sense of what we could do if we're concerned?
Yeah. I think that a lot of times people are concerned that they're going to be too nosy. They don't want to ask about these things because they think it's crossing a line. It's none of their
I've certainly
business.
done that.
Yes, yeah. And I think it's really important that we are bold and brave when it comes to someone's safety, right? It's always our concern when it comes to someone's safety. And so it's okay to ask some of those questions and know that you're doing the right thing if you're checking in on their well-being. And I think if other people, if you have interest in this area and you want to learn some more, we do have training opportunities
Perfect.
with our organization. So
Yeah. So Failsafe For Life, their website is up. You can also reach out to us at Big Table, and we can connect you to Sabrina. We can connect you to the resources. We just know this is a big issue, and we really want to make sure we do something about it before we're in a place where we go, I wish I'd done something.
yeah.
So thank you so much.
Yeah.